everybody, it's Christine, and I am going to be doing a couple of weeks of mixed media techniques that we like to use in scrapbooking. I am not a mixed media artist. That is not my specialty area, but I do use it pretty frequently in different techniques on my projects. So while I am not exclusively into mixed media, I do have lots of little tips and tricks to share and ideas for how to use your different mixed media products that you have on hand. And I'm going to be teaming up with my friend Suzanna. We are going to be sharing a variety of ideas, both from our own perspective, and she's the same as me. She uses mixed media quite a bit, but it's not her exclusive approach. You wouldn't say she's a mixed media scrapbooker, but you would say that she does use it on occasion. And so we're going to be showing you different ways to incorporate that into your projects. So today I'm going to talk about using mist to create splatters. Now there are a couple kinds of mist that I like. I like the Dilutions kind. And I also like Heidi's Swap, her Color Shine kind. And I'm going to use the Dilutions kind today because I have a dark color of it and I think it'll show really well the techniques that I'm going to show you. So let's talk about how you can make splatters. The most common way that you have seen, I'm sure, is to just take your sprayer out of the bottle and just tap, tap, tap. Or even don't tap and just go flinging, okay? Now, this is not terribly precise, okay? That is my biggest problem with it because I tend to decide at the very end of a project that I want to add on some mist splatters. And so I was looking for a way that could be a little more precise. Here are a couple of ideas in that respect. So I'm going to just pull this out here. And my favorite way, and the way I almost always do if you watch my videos, is I use just a simple watercolor paintbrush and tap. And that just gives me generally a lot more precision. Not necessarily all the time. It's not a perfect foolproof way, but it definitely is more precise in my opinion. So that is one idea. And these, you can get these paintbrushes really cheap and just clean it up and it's ready for your next color. And as you can see, that produces a good variation in size of the splatters. You got some big ones, you got some small ones, and that's generally your goal. Now, here's another idea for a different approach, and that is to tap using this, and that kind of softens the whole look. Okay, and you can tap it on anything, just a pencil or whatever. Now another approach that produces a completely different look, I think I'll do it right here, is to use your finger and just go pull the brush back and fling it. And you can see, I need to get some more mist on it, but you can see that creates really that splatter technique that you see in art a lot. It just sprays it all over the place. Just can make a really interesting background. Now, I love to create interesting backgrounds. So one thing that's really fun to do is use a stencil or a template to leave some negative space or positive space, depending which direction you want to go. And for this, all I do is I would use some repositionable adhesive here and just go around it. And you're going to want to do quite a bit because you want it to be obvious where that shape is. And you can always pull it up and double check if you've got enough. But you can see I'm being very generous. I am not using this sparingly. Okay. And I can tell already I don't have enough in close to this stencil. And if you're getting stuck anywhere, you can just do a couple little taps. You don't have to, not every single part has to be a splatter. You can totally fake it in some parts. So now let's pull it up and see what we've got. Yeah, there you go. You can see there's a circle there. So you could do that with a star or hearts, and you can do it with a big shape or a little shape, and just create a really interesting background that way. So that's just some different ideas for you. on how to approach splattering. Now, real quickly before we go, I have made a mess. I've got blue ink everywhere, and I wanted to share a quick tip on how I clean that up. Now, I know there are cleaners made specifically for this. There are lots of ideas on this, but quite frankly, if I've already got it in my house, that's a win. So I'm gonna just use a little bit of hairspray. Hairspray gets ink off of things. I have no idea why, and I have no idea why I know that, but I do. And so this is a way that I like to clean my self-healing mat. Now, obviously, if you have a disposable mat, it's certainly not a big deal to get the ink all over it, but I do not. I have a mat that I want to keep around for a while, and see how easily that cleans up the ink. This also works really nicely on your acrylic blocks for stamping. And yes, it gets things sticky, but then you just go back over it with a regular cleaner and that takes care of the stickiness, and then your mat is as good as new again. So that is just a quick little easy practical tip for you on how you can clean up your mat after you're doing some of this mixed media. Be sure to check back in tomorrow on Suzanna's channel, which I will link you to right here at the end of the video. She's going to have a tip and idea for you on how to do some different mixed media techniques, and we will be back. We'll have 10 videos in all, as well as some process videos at the end of each week. So thanks for joining me. We will see you again tomorrow.